Hi, and welcome to the third installment in our four-part series on active reading. In the first video, we discussed an overview of what active reading is and why it's a good idea. In more specific terms, active reading is when a reader reads critically and analytically. They approach the text with certain expectations and then read what's written with an eye to how it relates to other things in their own lives or the larger world. Active reading doesn't only mean increased comprehension. It also fosters an opportunity for the student to develop new ideas and new ways of thinking. An active reader is more likely to seek out information about a topic of interest or ask why questions when something is unclear. In the second video, we talked about the tools authors have in their toolboxes to create engaging and beautiful works that make active readers want to develop new ways of thinking and new ideas. In this video, we'll talk about how those tools build to bigger ideas. Don't forget to handwrite your notes on either the notes pages I provided or on notebook paper with proper headings, and you can use whichever method you choose so that you can remember this information. Remember, the beauty of a recorded lesson is that you can pause and rewind as needed. So let's get started. First, let's review how authors create character. We can learn a lot about a character based on what the author has them say or how they say it. So when we're looking at dialogue, not only will the words that they say be important, the descriptors that the author adds about how those words are said will also be very important. It's key to pay attention to their mannerisms and the way that they speak. In addition, authors give us lots of hints about characters through the way they think. How they view the world and the events around them will give us key details about their motivations, what they believe, their values, and so on. On top of what they say and think, we can learn a lot about a character based on what the author has them do, and from their actions, we can draw inferences about their level of confidence based on how the author describes their actions. Additionally, how they react to others provides key information about what the author wants us to know about that character. What caused them to stop trusting one character? And we learn about both characters in that interchange and what they value. All of these details are a part of indirect characterization. So we see what the characters say and do and think and what other characters say about them, and we have to draw inferences about the character through those details. Another way that authors create characters is through direct characterization, in the words that the narrator directly tells us about the character in terms of how they look, how tall they are, what color their hair is, what kind of clothes they're wearing. All of that develops our perception of the character. All of the details that the author uses to create character ties to the theme. It's important to remember here that topic is not theme and plot is not theme. And what I mean by that is you might have a topic of love or a plot where two people fall in love and face difficulties. But neither of those things are the theme. The theme would be that love is difficult but worth it. There's a difference. So how do authors develop theme? Well, first you have to think about the title. It's our first clue about what the message of the story is going to be typically. Anytime that title of the work comes up in the story is a really important moment as related to the theme. It's a really good idea to stop and take a really close look at what's happening in that section. Another way that authors create theme is through the conflicts they present their characters with. Is the struggle between two people? Or is it a person facing a force of nature? Are they struggling against society and everybody seems to be against them, or societal norms? Or is their struggle internal and they're fighting with their own thoughts? Whatever the conflict is, what's important is how that conflict is either resolved or not. That resolution will contribute to the overall message. What do the characters learn? Do they have any aha moments, or do they ask themselves tough questions? And tough questions doesn't mean what should I have for lunch, turkey sandwich or peanut butter and jelly. It's who am I? What's my place in the world? If we think about the minor characters, is there a wiser or older character who guides them in these big ideas? And what do these aha moments, tough questions, and words from the wiser members of society contribute to the larger message? Another tool that authors use to develop theme is through recurring elements or repetition. Anytime that there's something that happens again and again, words, phrases, ideas, images, whatever, there's a reason for why it's coming up. The author's message is connected to those motifs, and that's why they keep repeating them. Finally, it's important to pay attention to the moments where the plot diverges from the regular storyline. So many flashbacks or moments where the character is thinking about a memory of a time before, or a moment where the character makes a decision that creates a turning point for them, is a really important part of the theme. It's funny because a lot of times people want to skip those flashbacks or memory moments. They want to jump back to the plot. And the problem is that they've missed the key details or hints or clues about the theme by doing that. These elements all contribute to character and theme and are really important to figuring out the author's purpose in the work. What's the big idea for them writing? In each case, the author uses tools from the toolbox such as diction, details, figurative language, imagery, syntax, sound devices, point of view, and tone to develop and enhance those important moments. So as you're reading actively, once you've found a moment that ticks one of those bells, if it's a recurring moment or an aha moment for the character or any flashback or memory moment, that's a moment where you want to stop and take a closer look at the author's tools that they've used to create that moment and make notes about it in the margins. In this video, we've covered how authors use their tools to develop character and scene in order to get to the larger purpose for writing. In the next and final video, we'll talk about how you might respond in writing to a text. When you're ready, I'll meet you there.